So there's a new Weezer single out, which you probably know. It's called The End of the Game, and it is the first single of the long-awaited Van Weezer. A lot of people have posted their thoughts, mostly positive, and a lot of people have been asking me what I think about it. And I don't really do these song review videos or anything like that, but there are a few things that I felt like I have to say about this song that I haven't seen a lot of people saying. So this is just going to be what I thought about the new single. Firstly, I just want to say that overall, I think I have a more positive feeling about the song than I have negative feelings. I definitely prefer the song over most songs on Pacific Daydream, most songs on Black, besides maybe High as a Kite, and maybe Can't Knock the Hustle. So it definitely is a big improvement. There is also very blatant things to be disappointed by that I'll also point out first. First thing is the artwork sucks. This is easily the worst Weezer album artwork that they've ever released. I know a lot of people don't like Hurley's artwork, but I actually really do. I think it's funny. I think Make Believe was the worst album artwork, but I think this one takes its place. In case you weren't aware, it's literally a free graphic design background on DeviantArt. And Rivers posted on a Snapchat story asking for album cover ideas, and somehow this was the best thing they came up with. It's just so lazy, it's not captivating, it's dated, it's gross. And Weezer has had some awesome covers over the years. Even some of their worst albums have awesome album covers. So I don't know how this one ended up being so terrible. Another thing to be disappointed by is obviously the release date of the album. I believe Weezer has been hyping this album up since around February along with OK Human. And regarding OK Human, it sucks even more that that has to be released after Van Weezer, considering they basically said it was done last December. But yeah, they've been hyping this Van Weezer album up since like February, and now when we finally get the announcement, we have to wait basically another year. I know they did say that they would like to release it sooner, but at the same time, sooner could be February for all we know, which is still too late. I was getting my hopes up, and I thought it would be an October release. I mean, we did get 2 albums this year already, but come on, those weren't very great. Who releases a single 9 months before an album's release date? Who does that? And another thing regarding the album that I'm disappointed by that I haven't seen too many people talk about is that in the initial reviews, when they initially talked about Van Weezer and some of OK Human, they said that those were just working titles and that they weren't going to be the final titles of the projects, which I liked. I was completely fine with. I was excited to see what they would call it. And I'm just disappointed that they ended up going with the working titles. I'm assuming they did that because they've been talking about them for so long that all the fan base has been calling them by those names, so I guess they just stuck with them. But it would have been awesome to see a new name like Everything Will Be Alright in the End or something like that. It gives the album more character, I think. I just think Van Weezer is a lazy album title. I don't know, some of you may like it, but I just don't. Now regarding the song. Like I said, although I do have some mixed feelings on the song, my feelings are mostly positive. It is nice to hear them go back to power chords and riffing and all that stuff, stuff that makes Weezer playing into their strong suits. But at the same time, there are some problems that come up. First of all, I think lyrically the song is just okay. None of the lyrics really stand out and they're a little sappy, but the lyrics are far from the biggest problem and they're pretty harmless. Now, even though the song features guitars again, it does feel pretty poppy. Not to say that even the earliest of Weezer songs are poppy to some extent, but I mean like Ratitude poppy. Yes, I can definitely hear the comparisons of this song and Everything Will Be Alright in the End, especially on the bridge. I think the bridge is awesome, as well as the intro and the outro, but like the verses and even the chorus to an extent are kind of Ratitude-ish. A big problem with a lot of the middle Weezer albums that a lot of people complain about is the really clean, safe production, which was a factor on Ratitude. And the chorus and the verses kind of sound like they could be on Ratitude, or at least the better parts of it. And again, I'm not saying this is a bad song, but I feel like Weezer has not used prominent distorted guitars in so long, and people are just so desperate for them at this point that whatever song they first put out with them, aka this song, people are gonna love. I saw some people that were like, oh, this is so classic Weezer. Like, no, it's not. It kind of sounds more like albums like Ratitude or albums like Everything Will Be Alright in the End. Even the Red album to an extent. I can hear Pork and Beans a little bit in the chorus. My point of this is that I think a lot of people just like it for the fact that it has distorted guitars again, despite the fact that even if it did and it was a bad song, I still think people could potentially like it because people wanted it. People really wanted the distorted guitar again after having a 3-year drought from it, and they got it, and the reaction was very positive. But what people are forgetting were that there were in fact bad Weezer albums that had distorted guitar on them. I remember a little while ago on the subreddit, somebody said something along the lines of, at this point people would just be satisfied with a Ratitude song release because they feature guitars. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing here a little bit. The song is pretty good. It is pretty catchy, and it's got the guitars which people have been asking for. But it does feel very safe. And safeness is not something I always like when it comes to Weezer. For example, the Green album. Not to say that this song is as bland as the Green album. It doesn't come anywhere close. It has some elements that are different and are very enjoyable. But it's not quite as edgy or serious or self-aware as, say, the White Album was. That album took Weezer's best sound and pushed it to new limits, creating a new and fresh and enjoyable sound. And although this sound is somewhat new with, the 80s metal guitar tapping, which, by the way, feels a little bit dated, it is overall a pretty safe song. Now, I know I feel like I'm tearing it apart, and that's not really my intention. I'm just saying that the song isn't quite as perfect as people are making it out to be. But overall, the song is enjoyable, and I will be listening to it quite a bit. I'm hoping that Van Weezer goes in mostly the same direction, but also some directions that make you just say, wow. I'm counting on you, Weezer. Weezer is pretty much the Nicolas Cage of music. If you have a flop, it doesn't matter. You just go on to make more stuff until you make something good. Hopefully this will be one of those good projects. But then again, we were severely disappointed with Black after getting some awesome singles, so who knows at this point.